Hi, friends. This is Terry McCarthy, Pastor Terry McCarthy from United Lutheran Seminary. And on these days of Lent, as you know, if you've been listening to these videos, we are reading passages from Henri Nouwen's book, Life of the Beloved, a much beloved book to me and a great resource that's been my pleasure this season to reread and reflect on for you. Today's passage begins at Nouwen is writing of being blessed, as being having the life being the beloved of God and living that life of the beloved. And he writes, as the beloved children of God, we are blessed. I am increasingly aware of how much we fearful, anxious, insecure human beings are in need of a blessing. Children need to be blessed by their parents, and parents by their children. We all need each other's blessings, masters and disciples, rabbis and students, bishops and priests, doctors and patients. Let me first tell you what I mean by the word blessing. In Latin, to bless is benedicere. The word benediction is that it used in many churches means, literally speaking, dicio, meaning speaking, and well, meaning bene, of saying good things of someone. That speaks to me. I need to hear good things said of me, and I know how much you have the same need. Nowadays, we often say we have to affirm each other. Without affirmation, it is hard to live. To give someone a blessing is the most significant affirmation we can offer. It is more than a word of praise or appreciation. It is more than pointing out someone's talents or good deeds. It is more than putting someone in the light. To give a blessing is to affirm, is to say yes to a person's belovedness. And more than that, to give a blessing creates the reality of which it speaks. There is a lot of mutual admiration in this world, just as there is a lot of mutual condemnation, too. A blessing goes beyond the discrimination between admiration or condemnation, between virtues or vices, between good deeds or evil deeds. A blessing touches the original goodness of the other and calls forth his or her belovedness. This reading for me brings to mind this passage. The fact that we usually use and think of the word blessing, and especially as an ordained pastor or person who attends church regularly, as part of a church service, a blessing at the end of the service, a blessing to begin the service, a blessing when receiving the sacrament. There are all sorts of blessings that we think of liturgically. But a blessing doesn't have to be, or even on other special occasions, such as before a meal. But a blessing doesn't have to be just occasional or just for a special reason. As Nouwen writes, a blessing is simply extending goodness. And a blessing in a way is God's goodness, is a special goodness, not just you've done this well, but you are well. You are well in my eyes. You are a good person. I wish goodness for your life. Goodness doesn't always mean happiness, but we have the potential to see goodness in others and see it in ourselves, and to extend the goodness that God sees in each of us as God's creation. Because we remember, of course, in Genesis, in the very first story in the Bible, the very first story of creation, at each point, at the end of each day in the Bible, that term is used, a day of creation, that God stopped and said and looked and recognized and was aware of what God had made. And God said this was good. And that is a blessing. That is a blessing that is extended upon each of us. It's God's creation. And so let us pray. Lord, give us the insight and the patience and the ability to take the time apart and look at someone else in our life and say, yes, you are blessed. You are doing well. And you are a good creation of God, infused with God's goodness. And may we know that goodness for ourselves. May we know that blessing, not just on Sundays and not just before meals, And not just when we are about to go on a trip or adventure or new part of our life, but may we know God's blessing, and may we extend God's blessing. May we extend your blessing, God, to everyone around us at every opportunity we have. And may we know it with every breath that we are blessed and we have received your love, and your faithfulness is always with us. And friends, I wish you indeed peace and all goodness and a blessing for this day. And I hope to see you again soon.